younger, I'm the youngest one, and they had to rush out to the hospital. Imagine the expenses of the hospital bill, trying to cover up the man child, the number was not going through. And next thing, okay, they came back home and coming back home from the hospital, landlord is giving them quick notice of 48 hours. And the man had to look for money, borrow money from everywhere, just look for a small apartment, took himself and his children with their belongings into that new place. At least now she has come and she's asking where the children are. But that maybe they but I'm not going to go answer her because when they was on the day you made no travel, you know you carry yourself, they travel, they go. I mean if I was a neighbor, I would never answer her. Like I would never answer that kind of question. Next I have for over 3 years, woman makes agreement with husband, shares twist 10 months later. A Nigerian woman has opened up about the details of her agreement with her husband and the aftermath. In a post on X, details she shared details agreement they made with her husband, including a rule that visitors couldn't stay longer than a week. However, the agreement required visitors to give prior notice before their arrival. A devastating turn of events. 10 months after the agreement, her mother passed away, while her husband has been accommodating her younger siblings for over 3 years. Reflecting on life reality, she stated, we sometimes say things due to lack of experience. It is when life presents us with the real deal that we know who our people are. You can imagine. Okay, Shan, I have this agreement that nobody's going to come and visit us. But even if they're coming, they must give us a prior notice. After the prior notice, they will not spend more than a week. After a week, everybody go back to your father's house. But now, 10 months after their wedding, her mother died. And guess who's taking care of her two siblings? She's the one and her husband. And they've been there for 3 years. They've been with her. You can imagine. So sometimes say we make decisions based on what we just know. Because now, once life presents itself, we're not going to know until when you see say life don't present itself, people now. At that time, we'll come to say, this not so supposed to be. Okay, let's see reaction. Someone says, so sorry about your mom. This is why I've stopped saying never. Life has a way of truncating your plans, honestly. Thankfully, you have a kind and understanding partner. Exactly, because it's not that kind of person, that kind of husband. He will not agree. He'll be like, we agreed, nobody is going to come and stay with us, and even if it's going to be a week. Probably, if when to make matters worse, if the husband's family, maybe one of them has five coming over and wanted to stay more than a week, and she was like, remember our agreement. Remember we had an agreement, and no family member, no friend is going to stay more than a week. That kind of thing, the lady is going to feel like the guy would want to stand on his ground. But she's lucky she has an understanding partner that understood the situation. And that one said, when life happens, adjustment takes place. Exactly. Then from another person, life really no send you because the way things happen fast, you'll be surprised. Thank God for giving you a kind partner. Exactly. Like, that's just it. She's just very happy and lucky to have such a kind husband. I've had a couple that's the story of a couple, they also agree that nobody comes to stay in their house, and even if anybody comes to stay, the person will spend only a week or so. Along the line, the mother-in-law came and she was like, because we agree nobody's going to stay. Then the mother-in-law was sick, her husband's mom, that he didn't take care of the mom. The lady refused and refused. So after the mom came, she stayed a few times, days or weeks. Then was like the mother-in-law should go, that they already made an agreement. It wasn't long. Her own mother fell sick. And she wanted the mother to come. The husband did not agree. Because you can imagine that kind of situation. When my own mom came, you disagreed. So now your own mom wants to come. No. And the thing caused a really big issue because before it was not sorted out. So now she's kind of lucky she has a kind partner. Lastly, someone else said, I feel you set the rules to bar his siblings, but life had other plans. Because I don't think you would have agreed to accommodate his own like he did yours. Exactly. You ladies can be very, very tough. If they say now his mama died and his siblings had to come and stay over, she feel not agree. The lady might not accept it because we had an agreement, so everybody we had an agreement and nobody's going to stay. And I trust what my gender can do. It can actually raise a serious issue if it was the guy's family member that was going to stay over. But she was lucky the man is very kind. Okay, next year I thought he needed help when he grabbed. The lady shares dramatic Abuja audio with 7 years old boy. A Nigerian lady has taken to social media to share a disturbing experience she had with a young boy at a traffic light in Wuse, Abuja, leaving her visibly shaking. In the viral video shared on X from the Twitter, she explained that she had just returned from the gym and was stopped at the traffic lights when the young Almajiri boy approached her car, as is commonly seen in the area. However, she claimed the boy behaved aggressively while knocking on her window, making her initially think he might break the glass. The small boy, one of those Almajiri boys, he should be around 7 to 9 years old, he came to my window and was knocking so hard I could literally feel like my glass was breaking, she said. She explained that when she eventually rolled down her window to calm him, the situation escalated further. According to her, the boy refused to let her close the window and insisted she give him money. Moments later, she alleged that the boy attempted to snatch her gold chain while she was still in the car. You can imagine, okay, you're coming from a gym, stopped at the traffic lights, and one small boy, 7 to 9 years old, I wonder who the imaginary boys are, came and was banging your glass seriously. And she felt like the glass was going to break. She went down. The boy was like, she must give him money. If not, she's not going. And they wanted to steal her gold chain while she was still in the car. You can imagine. When the light turned green, I just felt something on my chest like a slap. The boy tried to grab my gold chain. He had caught it and run away. She said, wow, what kind of children? How did they train a child like this? 7 to 9 years old and he's already stealing. He had caught the gold chain and like she felt the slap. Immediately the light turned green. The guy also say, light is already green. She will soon leave. The guy caught like he caught the chain and ran away. The lady expressed shock over the incident, noticing that the boy appeared to be no more than 7 years old, describing the experience as deeply traumatizing. The incident has since sparked conversations online about the street begging, child protection, and raising insecurity in major Nigerian cities like Abuja. Okay, before we take another song, let's now reason this matter. You know, now when you go on the road, you see small children trying to, and some of them are trying to hustle. They clean the way they usually clean cars, they clean the glass of your car and try to give them money. Some come to you begging, and this one you can imagine, he came, started begging the lady, like banging her glass. What if the glass had broken? Who was going to fix it? The lady, or she can't start for the boy's parents, maybe she might not be staying with his parents, probably he's staying with his friends under the bridge or one place or the other. And when the guy saw that the light had turned green, traffic light, man, the traffic control, probably it was on red, that's why he was able to hit that glass. He saw it as turned green, immediately he slapped her chest, like dragged the gold chain from her chest and run away. You can imagine that kind of situation. And this is actually what the people online are saying. They talk about street begging, child protection. We need to protect our child and rising insecurity in the country. This kind of things happens. And before you know that kind of child, by the time the child grows up, he might become a thief and a robber or might not be contented with whatsoever thing he has. So let's take another song. Don't forget the entertainment hub at Ifako Radio.
Jig